Alright, so to start off on our class, though, the first thing we'll want to do is sign into our KW Command platform. So if you've not signed into KW Command before, maybe you just need a refresher. Alright, the main way to sign in is to go to agent.kw.com, alright, and then put inside your username and password. So I'm actually going to utilize this account, alright, instead. So I'm going to put inside my username and password, alright, and then you can click that sign in option, click enter. Either one will work perfectly for you. Alright, so the reason I'm utilizing my good friend Lori Godfrey's account on here, in case you guys have ever come to these classes before, is because she actually has access to one of the items we're going to be talking about today. I was hoping everyone else would have access to it. I haven't seen everyone with access quite yet, so at least we can take a look at her account to see what it'll look like. Alright, so today's class is going to go over the landing pages and also the listing section of KW Command. Alright, so once we're on KW Command and we're right on this home page, we can actually see all of our different items in the dashboard on here that we might want to take a look at. Alright, so in this case, she has the listings option on here, so I don't believe everyone's going to have the listings section on here quite yet. Alright, but then we also happen to have the landing pages as well. Alright, literally right next to her listing section. Now, if you guys don't have listings on here, that's okay. Alright, at the very, very bottom, it might say it's in the coming soon section, alright, where you can access that immediately. Alright, so that'll be coming very, very soon on here. Alright, now a couple things I always tell people, before we actually start on here, especially for the landing pages section, in order to create a landing page, you'll typically have to create a piece over in Sketchhouse first. Alright, and then you can actually utilize that as your landing page. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the neighborhood section on the contacts, how you can create those types of landing pages. Alright, and then we'll even take a look at the listings on here. Alright, and this will pretty much pull over your listings from the KWLS so you can take a look at them too in one location. Alright, now before we start anything though, I always tell people you always want to do your prep work. Alright, so in this case you want to work smarter, not harder. Alright, so when it comes to the Sketchhouse, you want to have your information auto-populate on there. Alright, so with that being said, if we click our name at the top right up here, alright, then we can actually go to Settings. Alright, that second option from the drop-down on here. So we can click on Settings, that second option. Alright, now this is where we can actually set up some of our settings that we can actually utilize over on Sketchhouse. Alright. So I'm going to click on Settings real quick. Here we go. Alright, so there are a bunch of different settings we can actually take a look at on here. The first one, obviously, is all of our connected applications we're currently utilizing. We also happen to have a database section on here, too. Alright, we can actually go through and view... Oh, I like the database wipe. That's new. We can view our opportunity settings, our custom fields, tags, our neighborhood snaps, alright, import logs, lead routing on here now, too. Alright, and then even our marketing profile. Alright, so for the marketing profile on here, let's go and click on that option real quick. Alright, so I'm going to click on Marketing Profile. Here we go. Alright, and then this is where you'd want to go through and add inside all of your contact info if you have not already. Alright, so you want to make sure all of your contact info is on here. Alright, so with that being said, in order to actually save this backend, you do have to add inside a photo. Alright, anything that says required on here, you will be required, obviously, to add this inside. Alright, so I just want to give you guys a heads up on that. Alright. So with that being said on here, alright, we can click on that upload option. Now just to give you a heads up, it will say recommended size 360 by 360. So it does want your headshot in a square. Alright, I just want to give you guys a heads up on that. Alright, it does want it in a square on here. Alright. So in this case, we can add inside whatever headshot we want to. I'm going to leave that as is on here for her account. Alright, then you can add inside your first name, your last name, alright, your additional info on here like agent license number, team name, designations, your bio as well on here too. Alright, so I just want to give you a heads up on there. All right. Now below that, I just wanted to give you guys a second to add that in if you needed to. All right, below that as well, we also have to have our mobile phone, our office phone. We can add inside our email, our website on here. Now once again, only the items that say required on here will you actually need to add inside in order to actually make these completely, well, saved. All right, so at the end of the day, if I try to save this, it won't allow me to. All right, so I just want to give you guys a heads up on that. All right. And then, of course, if we scroll down, we can also see our Market Center name on here, our Market Center address, basically. Since it is asking for the address in the city, state, postal code, zip code, I would go ahead and fill this out as well, just so it auto-populates on there for you. All right, so at the end of the day, that'll help out tremendously. All right, I definitely want to make sure you guys have that up and running on there. All right. And then, of course, if we scroll down, you can also add inside your legal footer if you need anything. Your social media URLs on here as well, and then even your branded app link too. All right, so that little app.kdb.com URL. All right, so a question came in. So just a heads up, because I'm not able to see it on this screen, but it popped up for a quick second. All right, if anyone has any questions, send them here. All right, so that way I can see it on my other screen on here. So a question came in about what the DBA logo is, though. All right, so this is kind of the doing business as logo. All right, so this is typically the logo that you'll actually utilize for the Market Center. All right, so whatever the office logo is at the end of the day. Now, one thing to note, and I'm not sure if this is going to change in the near future or what might be getting updated or anything of that sort, because I know on certain marketing pieces for certain MLSs, you are required to have obviously that specific logo on here, or a specific Market Center logo. Now, one thing to note, this will display in a circle, so that's why it's asking for the square section. All right, so I just want to give you guys a heads up on here. The logo does have to be a square, and most logos that I'm sure you guys have probably seen are more rectangular. All right, so the only workaround we've seen so far is to add kind of white space to the top and bottom, but hopefully this will change soon, all right, where the logos will actually be more of a rectangle, so it'll fill everything. All right, so that is the ultimate hope on here. All right, so fingers crossed. All right. Now, with that being said, once you have updated this, just click that save option at the bottom. And of course, all this information can be changed at any time. All right, all of it can be changed at any time. All right. Now, once this is saved, obviously, if I click the save option on here, we're going to notice there's some errors because I haven't actually updated anything. All right, so it's not actually going to save anything on here. So I just want to give you a heads up. If you ever do that, it should pop up with an error message. If not, it might just start or keep scrolling on me or spinning on there, basically. All right. But at the end of the day, this is just another additional item that you can go through and update. So I always tell people we definitely want to start with this one first. All right, because this will automatically populate into our sketch house. All right, so that's what we want to utilize on here. All right. So with that being said, there we go. Now we can actually see what's actually required on here. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to hop back over to our command homepage. All right, and once again, I've said it before, I'll say it countless times, you can update this at any time. Nothing is set in stone by any means. All right, so I definitely want to make sure you guys are aware of that. Nothing is set in stone at all. All right, so now we're back over on our homepage. All right, the next big thing we're going to take a look at is Sketchhouse. All right, where we can actually design what the piece is going to look like for our landing page. All right, because if you notice, and I'm just going to do this real quick, if I click on landing pages, all right, so if I click on landing pages, this is what the landing pages section is going to look like. And if I go to create landing page, it's going to ask me for the name, but then it's also going to ask me for the template on here. Now, the only template that she has on there is the Market Snap default template, which is perfectly fine. All right, if you guys happen to have that as well and you want to utilize it, by all means, that's perfect. All right, this is the main template that used to be available, so I'm glad to see that that's an option on here right now. All right, but in most cases, you'll typically want to go through and actually create your own landing pages too through Sketchhouse. All right, so if we go back over to Sketchhouse on here, all right, then this is where you can actually access all the different pieces. Well, that's why she happens to have that. She has it over in her design library. There we go. That would be why it popped up. I should have checked on that immediately. All right, sorry about that. That was just a little tease on there, it feels like. All right, so once we're under Sketchhouse, we can actually see our sketches, which at the end of the day are going to be our saved designs. All right, so much like over in eEdge where you have the My Design section, all right, this is, or the Save Design section, I know they've changed it. This is where you'll actually see all of your saved designs. All right, so any design that you go through and tweak and update, this is where you can access it later on. All right, and of course you can always click on this to access it if you want to update it even further, or you can always click on these three dots over here if you want to delete it altogether too. All right, so completely up to you. All right, then of course you can also create your own custom template if you want to just start from scratch and basically build your own on here. All right, so there's an option basically just to start from complete scratch on here, just to kind of make your own. All right, or you can actually utilize the KW Sketch library. All right, so the KW Sketch library is going to be all the different sketches that are just created for you guys right now. And this just taught a class on Sketch recently. Interesting. She only has 2 over here. You guys should actually have about 33 or so. So that's very intriguing. She only has 2. Okay, that's all right. So I'm looking, while I'm doing this class, I'm also doing it over on another computer on my screen, because she has a, oh, there we go, now it's popping up. Alright, I was about to say, what the heck? Alright, so you should have 33 as well. Okay, perfect. Alright, looks like it just took a little bit longer for it to pop up on here. Alright, so these are all the different, basically, templates that you can actually utilize on here. Alright, so at the end of the day, if you do happen to have that Market Snap default template, I would just go ahead and utilize that for the test one today, because that seems to be the best one to use right now. Alright, or of course, if you want to do one for property details on here. Alright, maybe you want to make a just listed landing page, an open house one, alright, whatever it might be, you can see all the different options on here. One helpful tip that I always like to tell people, if you see this viewing, and then it says on here 1 out of 12, or on like your contacts you might see viewing 1 out of 10, if you click on this, it'll then let you change how many you're actually viewing on that page. Alright, so that is probably one of the best helpful tips that I can tell you, to tell you the truth. Alright, because I like to be able to see as much as possible on one page without having to go to the next one. Alright, so you can click on any of these that you want to. Alright, I'm just going to use this Market Snap default template. Alright, and once we do that, then it's automatically going to pop up with what our Market Snap's going to look like on here. Alright, now the reason that I said I was hoping this would be available, some of this stuff on here I don't believe we're actually able to tweak or change right now. Alright, so I just want to give you a heads up on that. So I don't believe there's a lot of stuff that we can actually change on like the Market Snapshot section. Alright, so if we notice on here, it's going to say, oh, you know, there's Katie Bauer, here's obviously some other info. Alright, but we can actually go through, and as you can see, once you're happy with the layout of your template, you can tailor your dynamic widgets by clicking the Configure button. Alright, so up here at the top, we'll have the option where we can actually import our own template. We can download this as an HTML in case you want to send it out on another provider like MailChimp or Constant Contact. Alright, or we can copy this to our sketches like we had previously. Alright, now you're definitely more than welcome to go through and tweak this as well. Alright, so I'm going to X out of this real quick. Alright, so if you want to actually delete anything on here, you're definitely more than welcome to. Alright, so I can actually duplicate this, I can move it around, alright, I can delete it, alright, completely up to us at the end of the day of what we want to do. Alright, the only thing that I don't see that they have on here, and I've been hoping for it, is a back button. Alright, that's always nice. Alright, but then we can also change the view whenever we are creating these pieces over inside Sketchhouse too, whether we want to see what it'll look like on a desktop or laptop, over on a tablet, or over on a mobile phone too. Alright, so I just want to give you a heads up on that. That all is available on here. Alright, you can also add inside additional layout options on here. You can add inside additional content, alright, or even additional widgets. So if you've ever gone through and say, for instance, you've utilized, you know, in this case, Canva before, or MailChimp, or Constant Contact, anything like that, it's going to be very similar where you can actually add inside a drag and drop feature on here. Alright, so if I want to drag over and add inside, you know, a lead form like I have right here, I'm pretty sure there's a lead form at the bottom, yep. Alright, then I can actually add that in immediately. Alright, so I just want to give you guys a heads up on here. Alright, so completely up to you guys at the end of the day. Let me delete that real quick. Alright, or we can add inside additional items, like the listing presentation header, alright, the Market Snap with the lore, pricing strategies, alright, so there's a bunch of options on here. Alright, and then of course outside of this, we can also, once again, view that content section, so we can actually add inside text, add inside images, buttons, dividers, whatever we want to. Alright, so you can completely tweak this. Now, whenever you are content with this, though, make sure you click that Copy to My Sketches option up here at the top right. I was going to say section, it's really more of a button. Alright, so click on the Copy to My Sketches option at the top right up here. Alright, so once we click on that, then we can actually see what are we going to name it. So you can name it whatever you want to. So maybe I'm going to name this as, Test Sketch House Piece. I'm going to put 3/22. Alright, and then we can even put it inside a category on here, whether it's going to be an other, a market snap, a listing presentation, or a listing landing page. Well, since this is a market snap, I'm probably going to put it as a market snap on here, alright, just for me to categorize it. Alright, I don't believe this is going to do too much for you, but at least it'll save this category for you, make it easier for you to find. Alright, once I click confirm, then we're all good to go. So now it's saved in my sketches. Alright, so now I can actually go through and I can click on save and configure if I want to. I can click on the update button option. Alright, so then I can actually go through and tweak anything that I want to. Alright, now some of this info, especially on this template that we're utilizing. Alright, so once I clicked on save and configure, now I can actually go through and view everything. Now if you notice on here, it's not allowing me really to go through and change too much. Alright, but then if I click on any of these widget options on the right hand side, I can see if I can update anything. So like my header text on here. So I'm going to put inside market, snap, local conditions. Alright, I just want to change it to something that'll be different. Alright, then we can also add inside our agent branding, like our headshot on here. We can add inside a background as well. Alright, we can add inside a name, a phone number, an email address. Alright, so I'm going to put inside my name on here, put inside the phone number, and the email address. There we go. Alright, you can also add inside your team logo on here too. Alright, so there's a bunch of different items you can actually add in. I hope very soon they'll make this where it can like drop down a little bit. That'll help out because you can't read everything down here. Alright, so there's a bunch of different items. And of course, if you change anything, so I updated a couple items, then we'll just click on Apply Changes. So that'll change for us. Alright, so if you notice, I added that in, and this updated right up here. There we go. So let me see, I'm going to add inside my headshot. I should have one saved on here. I hope it's under, yeah, it's under 1 megabyte. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to apply the change real quick too, just so we can see how that'll pop up. So there's a circle. Now we're all good to go. Whenever I teach these classes, this is going to sound so weird, but I always feel like Bob Ross. Just saying, oh, we're going to add a little friend over here. Whenever I add inside a little extra thing like that. Hopefully you guys know who Bob Ross is. If not, he's on Netflix. There you go. Alright, so then we can actually take a look at our market snap over here. So I'm going to check this out real quick. I can put inside the postal code, for instance. I'm going to put inside 32803. And I can choose the neighborhood on here too. Alright, so I want to go with my neighborhood. And now I don't know which neighborhood. I know the name of it, but I don't know. I think I'm north. I'm probably north. We'll see. Alright, and then for the lore filter on here, much like we saw over on the Kelly snaps, whenever you're actually sending out like those snap landing pages, alright, then you can actually send out, on the lore filter, you can show either all of the market statistics, you can show the market center, your team, or just the agent option. That's the agent option down here that we can't really see because this is being blocked right now. So I'm going to leave it as all on here. That's perfect. I'm going to apply changes real quick. There we go. And then if you notice, once we did, hey, that worked out. Now you guys know the area, the general vicinity of where I live. Alright, so now we actually took a look at this, then we can actually view, hey, here are the active listings, alright, from KW, here are the active listings, from the MC, from the team, from the agent, so on and so forth. Alright, then it'll pop up with all the additional info on here too. Alright, and the main reason I wanted to do this is I wanted to see what the average sold price was on here. See how much our home might be worth. Yeah. Alright, so outside of that, so I already applied the changes on here, so I'm going to go back. And then, of course, we have our local insights on here too. Alright, so on here I could add inside additional local insights if I want to customize this even further. Alright, so based on 32803, I can look at my insights on here, or I can look at all insights. So I'm going to look at all insights on here, so I'm going to add in this. I'm going to add in Lake Eola on there too. Alright, then I'm going to go back to mine. I'm going to add inside Lake Baldwin. For any, I don't know if anyone's on this call that was in that class, but I had a class over in Jupiter, Florida, and we put a red lobster on here for some reason. Alright, and then I'm going to apply the changes, and we can see how this will update right down here too. Here we go. Alright. I just want to give you a heads up. Very simple stuff that we can add inside on here. It's not too hard to pick from everything. And then, of course, we've got the local insights on here. I don't know why it still says 0 of 5, even though we've added inside 3 on here. That's okay. All right, and then for the lead form on here, we can actually see, all right, lead form, it says interested, let's talk. All right, that's what it's going to show right up here. So if I want to change this, maybe I could say contact today to see, oh, I'm going to run out of characters. I'm going to say for a free CMA. I don't know if a lot of people will know what a CMA is, but regardless, we'll put it on there. All right, so then I can just see how this will actually update on here. Contact today for a free CMA. Perfect. All right, so now that I have this completed, I can actually save this as a draft, or I could publish this immediately. So I'm going to go and publish it real quick. All right, and as you can see, my landing page was published. All right, so it was that simple because I did a market snap on there. So if I go back over my Sketchhouse section, all right, then I can see my marketing pieces on here. I can see my market snap that I did today, the test Sketchhouse piece from 3/22. And in this case, I'd probably want to go through and rename this actually, because obviously I changed it a little bit. All right, but here's everything that's on here for that little template we were utilizing. All right, and once I actually save that, now under our landing pages, oh, is it not popping up on here? Okay. Ah, we can't scroll down. That's okay. All right, I'm going to go back over here. So now under our landing pages, let me pull it up real quick. My screen is not big enough to view everything. I don't want to zoom out on you guys though. I'm using a laptop over here, so it's a little bit tinier of a screen than I usually have. Hopefully you'll be able to scroll down on the left-hand side too. Alright, but then on here we can actually view our landing pages. Now obviously this just automatically created it for me, which is fantastic. Alright, and then we can actually see, hey, here's the URL we can utilize. Alright, it is always going to be this funky URL, the storage.googleapis.com/LP for landing page -manager -prod everything of that sort. Alright, so at the end of the day, if you happen to have a custom domain name, though, that you want to point over to this landing page, you can do that too. Alright, because that might make it a lot easier for people to access instead of saying, hey, go to storage.googleapis.com/ so on and so forth. Now, obviously, if you're sending this out via email, sending it out on social media, anything of that sort, this link will be perfect. Alright, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to tell someone, hey, go to this site URL, it probably isn't going to work too well. Alright, so I just want to give you a heads up on that one. But then we can actually see how many leads came over here. We can actually view the name on here too. And then, of course, once again, there are the 3 buttons over here, so we can edit, deactivate, or delete it. So I'm going to edit it real quick. Go back to that editor, all right, from what we were actually doing previously. I want to change the default page name. So I'm going to change this to Corytown North Landing Page. There we go. All right, and then I can update that. Awesome. Alright, now obviously we just created the landing page right over here through Sketchhouse actually, because it took us there from the market snapshot template we saved. Alright, or we can always go to create landing page on here, because then I could have actually put inside the landing page name, I could have chosen on here, hey, what's the different template I want to utilize, and if you notice, here's the landing page as well. Alright, and then I could also put inside the postal code if it's something like this that I'm creating on here. Alright, but now if you take a look at this, voila! Alright, now it is live on here. What happened to my header? My header went away. That's okay. Alright, but then we can actually say, hey, here's our market snap on here. I don't believe if it looks like that. Yeah, it looks like none of this actually changed on there, but that's okay. I don't know a lot of people that are going to click over on that or anything. Alright, but then we can actually see, hey, here's some of the different active listings, pending listings, average days on market, so on and so forth. Alright, recommendations around the area too. And then, of course, how they can contact us as well. Alright, so at the end of the day, this is just kind of a basic one that we actually added in on here. Alright, so I just want to give you a heads up on that. Alright, so I'm going to go back on here. And of course, you can always make this inactive as well if you don't want it to be live or anything. Since this is her backend, I'm going to go ahead and delete this because I don't want her having any of my stuff on her account. I appreciate her letting me utilize this though. Alright. And of course, you can do that for other Sketchhouse pieces too, but typically you'll need to create the piece inside Sketchhouse first. Alright, so in this case, we'll have to make it saved as a marketing piece on here. Alright, so even if I came on here and I wanted to do, the property details. Alright, I could click on this, for instance. I can also search for a listing on here to populate as well. Alright, and then it'll automatically come up on here too. But remember, you always need to copy it to your sketches on here in order to create that landing page. Alright, that's the big part. Now, the one big thing that I really want to tell you guys, though, is at the end of the day for these landing pages, play around with everything. Alright, that's the best way to really get used to it. I guess if I click on copy to my sketches on here, I'll put this one in as test property details page, just so I know which one to delete. Alright, so then if I click confirm on there, let's just say this is all good to go. Now, a cool part about this too, is at the end of the day on here, X out of that, this information up here, like the agent first last, or sorry, well this is technically the image that'll pop up for you, but the agent first, agent last, website, this will populate on these pieces from that settings section that we did earlier, right? This settings section, right, for that marketing profile, this will auto-populate on here. So once again, you want to work smarter, not harder, right? So that's the name of the game in this case. Alright, so I already copied to the sketches on here. Yep, good to go on there. Alright, then we can actually go through and tweak this even further. And of course, once again, if you want to go through and import your own template, you can. If you want to go through and download the HTML to then upload to another provider, you can too. Alright, or there's an option to send a test email on here. You can't just send out a bulk email or anything of that sort. You have to then send this out via the email campaigns. Alright, the email campaigns, which kind of looks like the... I feel like it's like the You've Got Mail logo. It reminds me a lot of the old AOL mail logo. Alright, but then you can also send that out via the email campaign section too, as just like a one-off piece. Alright, so I'm going to go back real quick, but if you notice, then we happen to have our design library on here, and here's my test property details page. Alright, so before I mess anything up, I'm going to delete this real quick. Alright, and I'm going to go down, back over here, because my computer's too small. I'm going to go to landing pages again. Alright, and fingers crossed! Oh, it didn't pop up, that's okay. Alright, I was thinking it might not come up for that one quite yet. Alright, so this is another thing we're running into right now. Unfortunately, it didn't pop up with that piece that we had on there. That's alright, but at least we were able to do the Market Snap default templates. Take a look at that. Alright, so that's one way where you can actually create a landing page, and hopefully very soon the other pieces will pop up as well too. Alright, now outside of just the landing pages that we have over here that they're obviously working on right now, once again remember this literally just launched a month ago. Alright, so very soon more items will be populating. If you notice, geez, I mean I was shocked when I looked on the settings section. I was very excited and surprised to see that there's an archive and delete, mass option on there to kind of fix up issues and everything. So that's fantastic, and a couple other items. Alright, but over here, a bunch of items are getting updated all the time. Alright, so even like this task manager is relatively new. Alright, now another quote-unquote landing page you can also utilize is really a neighborhood landing page. Alright, so very similar to like what we just did on there. Alright, so then if I wanted to come on here and I want to search for myself, I believe I'm a contact. Well, we'll find out. Am I in contact? We'll see. Scott, L.E. Here we go. Alright, so then I can actually click on this contact and myself. Alright, so then you can actually go to your contacts, click on the contact you want to create this for. Alright, then we can actually see all the different emails that we've sent off to them. We can view all the opportunities, all the notes we have on here too. Alright, so a bunch of different stuff on here that we can actually take a look at. Alright, but then if we scroll down, there's also a neighborhood section on here too. Alright, so you can actually add inside the neighborhoods that they might be looking to purchase, or they might be looking to move from. Alright, so if I click on Add Neighborhood on here, I can search for a neighborhood. Alright, so I'm going to type in, we'll go by city. There we go. Alright, it was just taking a little bit of time to pop up. So I'm going to say downtown Orlando. That's near where I am. Alright, so then I can actually add this inside on here, and I can even, very soon add it to the smart plan. Those aren't available quite yet. Alright, but then I can even get a neighborhood snap URL on here. Alright, so this neighborhood snap URL is technically a landing page too. Alright, so I could actually copy this. I just did Control-A, Control-C. You can always right-click, copy on here. You can also copy the URL, plenty of different options. Alright, but then I can actually utilize this too. Alright, to display as well. Alright, something I can actually send out to people. So the cool part about this neighborhood page, and hopefully it'll pop up in a second, is that it'll actually have updated information. Alright, so it's your own little local area page that you can send out to people. So that way, instead of it just being kind of like a general, hey, search for properties over in this area, alright, then you can actually specify, hey, are you looking to move to this particular area? Here's all the information you'll need about it. Alright, so everything's going to be very hyper-local. Hopefully this will pop up and not just keep spinning on there, so fingers crossed. There we go. Alright, Perfect. So as I can see on here, I happen to have downtown Orlando. So then right over here, I've got downtown Orlando for myself. Here's the neighborhood URL I can give to Scott. All right, and then if I scroll down a little bit further, all right, well, here's the area we're talking about. Here are the active listings. Looks like there's nothing on there. Sold statistics and so on and so forth. All right, and then here's that lead capture section. All right, there's even a section on here too where they can search as well. All right, so they want to search for properties inside the area, they can too. All right, so completely up to them. All right, so it looks like there's 5 that they're advertising over here. Yeah. All right, so a couple other options where they can actually search on here too, just inside that area. All right, so I want to show you that you can actually set up those landing pages that are technically neighborhoods as well to send out to your clients too. All right, so you can give them that URL to access immediately. All right, so I'll leave that on here. There's no save option, nothing of that sort. It'll just automatically save for me. All right, so that's a very, very brief overview of the landing page section on here. I just wanted to give you guys an idea as to how we can actually create the landing pages, where we need to go to populate our information over to Sketchhouse to create them, and then also how you can access the neighborhood section on your contacts too. All right, because those neighborhood ones, if you notice, are very simple to create. It just pops out right away. All right, and then of course, I don't believe you guys have this quite yet, so I apologize. Hopefully it'll be around very, very soon. All right, but she has access to the listings. That's why I'm utilizing her account right now. All right, so under listings on here we go. Ooh, this is fun. All right, listing sneak peek. You're now in the listing panel lab. Oh, that's nice. Well, I'm glad I used her account then. All right, welcome to your sneak peek of KWLS. All right, today you can search listings across the United States and parts of Canada. Coming soon, you'll be able to create and edit manual listings. All right, very similar to KWLS. All right, so keep in mind, stay tuned for improved speed and accuracy of your listings. All right, listings that appear in other applications will soon reflect this new listing feed. Nice. All right, so this looks like the second version of the KWLS, which is great. All right, because the KWLS, it's funny, I have some videos from about 3 years ago, and it looks almost the exact same. But at the end of the day, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It does exactly what it needs to do. All right, so on this KWLS 2.0, the listing section, all right, so if you notice on here, here are her active listings right now. All right, so we can just view all of her active listings. So she currently has 1 on here, so this is perfect. All right, and then if I click on See More, let's see what happens on here. Oh, there we go. So we can actually see a little bit more on this as well. All right, so this does look a little bit nicer than obviously the KWLS. All right, just makes it kind of streamlined on here where we can actually see some additional info. And this is nice right here, being able to see this, because on the KWLS right now, you can only see the MLS ID, and you can only see the address on there. So it's nice being able to see a little bit extra on here right on the home page too. All right, so it looks like we have it in the list. There's also an expanded section on here too, where we can see additional info. That's nice. A gallery section. All right, and then even a map on here as well. All right, so I'm just going to go back to that expanded one. Oh, all right, fine. We'll go to the gal. Why is it? Don't do that to me. There we go. All right, so now I'll go back to see more. Awesome. And then, of course, you can also search for listings on here, too. Fine, we'll do our location. Why not? All right. So I told you guys I was over in this area. There we go. So I wasn't lying. All right, so then we can actually view other listings inside that area, too. All right, so it's pretty cool. We can actually pull all this up. It's funny, I was actually looking at some of these homes over on the KW app the other day, too, so it's interesting seeing it on here as well. All right. So this is another way where then you can actually search, as you can see, by street address, by MLS number, or by KWLS ID too. All right, so that's pretty cool. We can actually pull that up. So if I pull up this top one, for instance, 1615 Garvin Street, I don't even know where that's located. That's good to know. All right, then we can actually view all the information on here too. All right, we can see this is from Keller Williams at the Park, so this is a KWLS listing. All right, so that's perfect, but we can see all this information on here. All right, so very similar to actually seeing this over inside the KWLS, this will do the exact same thing. All right, this is the new version of the KWLS. So here's a little sneak peek. Thank you, Lori Godfrey. So if you guys have not added her as a referral partner on KW Connect, this is her shout out of the class. All right, so thank you, Lori Godfrey out of Portland, Oregon. There are actually 2 Lori Godfreys. So thank you, Lori Godfrey out of Portland, Oregon, for allowing us to see a sneak peek of this. All right, so it's pretty cool. This looks very, very nice on here. To tell you the truth, I actually haven't even seen the sneak peek on it. This is my first time, too. I've only seen the other parts. So this is very nifty looking at all this. I like this. All right. So pretty cool. We can actually just see everything right on here. And it looks very similar to the KWLS. All right. This is new though, the videos one. I've always seen the virtual tours and the links option. Alright, but this videos one is new on here. I like that. Alright, so a bunch of cool things that we can actually do once this is officially live for you guys. So it looks like she's in that listings lab right now. That's why she's in the listings sneak peek on here. Alright, but in this case, this is what it's going to look like very, very soon for that new KWLS. Alright, so hopefully when we do this class a month from now, you guys will have access to this, and we'll have even more access to our landing pages. Alright, so even more items via Sketchhouse we can take a look at on here. Oh, let me see if I can refresh it real quick. More items via Sketchhouse we can check out on here. So obviously we have the test property one that I did earlier today, so I'm going to delete that bad boy now too. Alright, then we also happen to have, the Market Snap default. And then, of course, you can always go down to your landing pages to create those immediately. Alright, so a little recap of what we did. Alright, so first thing first, we logged into agent.kw.com. The first thing I always suggest doing if you need to update any of this to make sure you're working smarter, not harder, we updated our settings. Alright, we went through the marketing profile section. Alright, then we went over to Sketchhouse to actually design what we want to display. Alright, once that was designed, then we were able to actually create that into a landing page. Outside of that, we also went over the contact section to talk about how you can add inside a neighborhood landing page for your specific contact to give to them. Alright, so it's going to be hyper-local landing pages for your contacts. Alright, then outside of that, we got a nice little preview of the new listing, or the KWLS 2.0 as it's called on there. I like that. Alright, 2.0, that's good. Alright, so that's a little bit of an overview of the landing pages and listings for your class today.